My dog Hock was like a member of the family. He lived 14 years. Last spring, he died.
He meant quite a lot to me. He seemed to understand whatever I said to him. You could talk to him and it seemed as though he'd understand.
Sometimes dogs understand better than people, they seem to, don't they?
Yes.
For my niece, Emily, it was her first experience of bereavement. Her introduction to what it means to lose a friend. You cried a bit, Em, didn't you, when he died? Do you think it helps to cry?
Well, I don't know. I couldn't really stop myself. I knew I had to get over it some way. It helps a bit because it makes you feel better afterwards.
For each of us, childhood is a time of fresh impressions. The feelings we had then are now familiar, but then they were new. Emotionally, we still had everything to learn. Like all children, I had adventures. At school, we'd steal out late at night and clamber over the roofs. We risked our necks and risked being beaten for it. But it felt good, felt scary. What are feelings worth to a child?
Come on. Bring your look. Roll up, roll up.
Human beings have evolved to be the most highly social animals on Earth.
One. Pigeon.
Other people are never complete strangers. We may not know them personally, but we relate to them at once as human beings. We're all psychologists. We've evolved the ability to read each other's states of mind, and we do it all the time. Here, nothing much may depend on it, but there will be times, in situations of tension or potential crisis, where our ability to know what someone else is feeling may be essential to our social or even our biological survival.
Come on, anybody else? Have a go, knock them down.
But how do we do it? The key lies in our capacity for self-awareness, for consciousness. It's as if we have an inner eye that allows us to look in on the machinery of our own minds. We know what it feels like to be happy or be sad. We're aware of the emotions that give rise to our outside behavior. It's this insight into what it feels like to be ourselves that allows us to make sense of other people. If other people have minds like our own and display their emotions in the same way we do, we can interpret them as versions of ourselves.
Spring in the air, filled with love.
We understand their behavior because we've felt that way ourselves.
When you're young and in love.
Know ourselves and will know others. There will be some areas of experience that we can't have access to. Culture sets limits to our own experience. Biology, even anatomy, may set them too.
We got a little girl, we got Amy.
But for a new human being just entering the world, the biggest barrier to understanding is ignorance. And the problem, time. A human baby is born empty of experience, knowing nothing about the possibilities of human feeling. He or she still has to discover what it means to have a mind, let alone that other human beings have minds too. And yet, these are the psychologists of the next generation. Within a few years, they're going to be falling in love, working alongside other people, raising families, living in society. They've got a lot to learn about themselves and other people. Has it been left to chance? Or have biological arrangements been made to ensure that every individual human being gets the diet of human experience that he or she needs? For the first few months, a baby has more elementary concerns. He has to come to terms with the external world, to develop his basic perceptual and motor skills. No point in worrying what's going on inside your mother until you've learned to see her and hold her with your eye. Of course, there's already communication of a kind. But at this stage, what the child sees in the mother must be quite different to what she sees in him. She sees a smiling, happy little human soul. But the baby himself probably has no kind of self-awareness. He doesn't understand the mother's feelings. He doesn't even understand his own.
Happy and sad. Happy and sad. Which ones are sad? Can you find some sad ones then? Those ones are sad, aren't they?
By 4 years, the first milestone's far behind.
Happy people.
This little girl is already a psychologist. She's attributing states of mind to other people, feelings that she first felt as her own.
Oh, that's clever. It is, isn't it? Can you do that? No. That one not happy because you can't do it. Oh. You get unhappy when you can't do things? Yeah. Some more books to show you now.
She can do it because she is now self-aware. When exactly the inner eye begins to function, no one knows. But it's not until 18 months or so that children show the first evidence of being conscious of themselves, and only then that they begin to have any kind of theory of the minds of other people.
What's that in the house?
Person.
A person.
A person is another creature like yourself, someone who thinks, feels, wants, just like you do. But how much can a 4-year-old really know about what it means to be a person? As a psychologist, this child is only just beginning. The safe world of the nursery won't take her far. What she needs now is to extend her range, to have more experiences to feel and reflect on in herself. Nature makes the things we need attractive to us. To a child, nothing tastes sweeter than the simple activity of play. In animals, as much as human beings, play is important to developing both physical and mental skills. But there's no animal which exploits play quite as we do, as an opportunity for social and emotional development, a chance to come to terms with psychologically important inner feelings. Victor Arethi's film, Spirit of the Beehive, explores the emotional intensity of the child's world. Two sisters have been left alone in the house. Hearing a cry, the younger goes to investigate. She discovers her sister lying apparently lifeless on the floor.
Isabel, levántate, no seas boba.
It's a game. Her sister is only pretending, but the young girl's feelings of bewilderment and loss are real enough. She searches for help without success, then returns to find her sister gone. She may be only a child, but the pain she feels is as keen and significant as anything she'll feel again. George Eliot described such childish feelings.
Every one of such keen moments has left its trace and lives in us still. But such traces have blent themselves irrevocably with the firmer texture of our youth and manhood. So it comes that we can look on at the troubles of our children with a smiling disbelief in the reality of their pain. Surely, if we could recall that early bitterness and the dim guesses, the strangely perspectiveless conception of life that gave the bitterness its intensity, we should not pooh-pooh the griefs of our children.
Of course, play doesn't usually take quite such a gothic form, but there is an underlying element of seriousness. The game may be make-believe. The children themselves may know it's make-believe, but they feel and they mind as if it were for real.
Oh, do you mind? No. There's a new kidney. Jesus, you're not put that there. Get out. Get out. You're not put that there. Get out!
If there's one thing common to all kinds of play, from rough and tumble in the playground to the most secret and private fantasy games behind the garden shed, I'd say it's this. Play is a way of experimenting with possible feelings, possible identities, without having to suffer the biological or social consequences the activities would have in the real world. It's the way by which children, by their own efforts largely, gain for themselves a kind of sentimental education. All children do it, and it's crucial to their development as sensitive and socially skilled human beings.
Oi, come back here! Just 'cause I ain't never had no nothing worth having, never, ever, never, ever.
Daniel, Douglas and Michael Fitch live in the East End of London.
You ain't got no call not to think of what I'm falling to thinking I ain't too clever. And it ain't not having one thing nor not another either, neither is it anything, whatever.
Don't want no fighting or bullying, okay?
And it's not knowing that there ain't nothing showing in the answer to the name of Trevor. However, just 'cause I ain't never seen.
I remember that old woman that used to live there. Yeah, oh, yeah, man. She was in London.
Out on the streets, they do what children do.
Ducky, look at me. I'm coming. I'm not.
That's one kind of experience, important certainly. But more surprising are the things these same children get up to back at home.
I'm putting this one on, Mike.
Oh, look, yeah, this one's going to be a laugh. This is going to be a laugh.
What's he got? He's got that.
Dressing up. Why do they do it?
Granny.
Then is this the right way round?
Why did any of us do it?
I'm going to wear this.
That's an undersleep.
It's not. It's a dress. Remember
That's
those?
a silly dress.
Remember those ones Mummy bought, the girls, ages ago?
Why this urge to transform ourselves? This delight with becoming people that we're not?
That'll look nice on its own, you know.
No, I'm putting the overcoat on.
Ugh. Look like an old granny then.
Oh, I look like old granny green coat. Remember her?
Old granny pink coat.
Oh, come on.
I'm just putting the overcoat on and I'm ready. Yeah. I'll put it on back to front.
Oh, hurry up.
There, ready.
Come on, hurry up. You're putting tights on or what?
Right, we're going. We'll wait for you outside.
Okay. Hey, wait for me. He and him go into my mum's room, dress up in her clothes, and then I'll go in and dress up, because I'm quicker than them. Then we come out, we walk the passage is the street, walk down the street, up and down it a couple of times, then we go into the ball. Here's our invitation.
Here's mine as well, thank you.
We'll start.
I'm going to sit down for a little bit. My legs are aching after all that walking.
Oh, I told you you shouldn't have come.
Well, I wanted a nice evening out. I haven't had one for years. So, anyway, there's nobody here yet.
Have you ever been to a ball, a real one?
No. But my big sister has.
Has she?
Yeah.
What did she get in?
She went to a proper ball. My brother was trained to be a doctor, and she went to a ball. Because they had to go away somewhere. I don't know where it was. They didn't have to. They wanted to go away to go to the ball. And Stephen, my sister Sharon's boyfriend. He was allowed to take one person with him, so he took Sharon. And my mum made her a pink silk dress. A lovely pink silk dress.
Do you know, those invitations, they weren't really for us. I bet you they were.
Because I got mine and he got his. And you got yours. Unless you stole yours from the next door neighbours.
I stole yours as well and I put it in your letterbox. Yes, I did.
You didn't, because I am Mrs. Finch. Now go! And it says to Miss Finch. So.
Oh, shut up, you old granny.
Oh, go home at once now! Now get it out of me.
All right, you old grannies.
Shut up! Get out and don't come back. We've got some pigs. Go away!
Let's have a little dance.
Yes.
Hey, you, do you know what?
What?
There's a letter in the letterbox.
Yes, what does it say?
It's from your daddy.
Dear wife and all, I will be coming home on August the 22nd. Meet me at Heathrow Airport at 5 o'clock. Love, Peter. See you soon. How are we going to do that? I don't know.
This game was the boy's own invention.
And we haven't got that money.
Think what's been tried out. What does it feel like to be your sister, to go to a swanky ball, to try to solve a family problem? The bits and pieces add together. Little by little, they're getting closer to being able to imagine other people's lives. Of course, some things have to be tried out in the real world.
Me, first years and second years and a load of others, we were playing kiss chase in the playground. And we all decided, right, if we're going to play kiss chase, right, in turn, we had to wait round a corner. One girl would take one boy, take him round a corner, kiss him for a little while, and then send him back. And get another one.
Behind the adventure playground, there's a derelict building.
There's a ghost! There's nothing! There's a trap living down there!
It's dirty and dangerous, the kind of place that parents tell their children not to go. That's not going to stop them. It seems that children are driven to court danger.
Their true love kiss or come on. No, I'm doing that. No, I am. No, I'll do it. Say no. Their true love kiss or command. I'm not first.
All right, I'll be first. Dare me. What do you dare me to?
I dare you to... Go downstairs to tramp. No. No, I'm not doing that. I dare you. Go on. Get off. Get off. Go on. You're cheeky. No. Go on. Get off. Stop. Go on, you chicken.
Thanks, Mike. It's 2:03.
The night sound of Capital Radio.
Usually, it's children themselves who take the initiative in seeking out experience. But parents can be accomplices, too.
Cheap. Make one a bit milky for him, otherwise I'll never get working. I'll be here all night.
The adult world is full of mystery.
Oh, you want a cup of tea? Yeah, they've given a bacon sandwich. Bacon sandwich, you joking?
Who doesn't remember their own yearning to join in, to be admitted?
not busy at all then, no? What out, that's two. One little sugar.
And a burger roll.
Yeah, burger roll. Have you got you got any French bread then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Egg and bacon French.
Fine for yourself.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll give you that good tip, but I'm not that rich.
It's a game for the father, too. He can take pleasure in his son's participation, and he'll do the same at home. It's parents who provide the toys, pay for the visit to the cinema, organize the parties, and so on. Parents who all the time are partners in the child's quest for experience. Perhaps there's a biological drive behind that, too. For the child carries the biological hopes of his parents and relations.
Put it tight, don't leave it loose, otherwise it will flat.
Yet the involvement of parents and other adults may have a darker side. And indeed it may be crucial that it does so. For there are things that children need to know that they might otherwise avoid.
I wouldn't worry.
So do parents sometimes engineer experiences that cause their children anxiety or distress? Initiations can take many forms, and when parents lay on experience for their children, they may not themselves understand their motives. Here in Trentino, in northern Italy, St. Nicholas is visiting. Will you be good? He asks the boys. Do you know what happens to children that are bad? The experience is terrifying, and yet the mother sits calmly and looks on. Such practices, jokes, teases, initiations, are so widely recorded and from so many different cultures that I don't think we can always explain them as an attempt to instill socially acceptable behavior, or simply dismiss them as some kind of terrible mistake. Should children be protected from uncomfortable experiences? Not necessarily. Not if they're going to develop a complete picture of what it means to be alive. Most children are spared such real encounters with the devil. But there is a place where monsters roam, and where every one of us may encounter all kinds of untoward experience. It happens in the world of dreams. Possible feelings, possible identity. The game may be make-believe, he or she may know it. Or social consequences are neglected. What is play? We tend to distinguish between being playful.
The games do play, huh? kind of games do you play? What kind of games do you play?
We all dream for about 1.5 hours every night. Electrical recordings show that during the course of a night's sleep, our brains repeatedly seem to wake up. These periods are marked by rapid eye movements, the eyeballs darting around beneath the lids. If you wake someone up then, they'll almost always report that they've been dreaming. Dream sleep occurs in babies and in animals too, but neither in animals nor babies can dreams have much imaginative, storytelling content. In human beings, that takes some years to develop. Then it comes to dominate our sleeping lives. Freud saw dreams as an opportunity to give free play to unconscious wishes and confront the conflicts which arise. Jung laid less emphasis on inner conflict. Dreams for him were more like universal myths. Yet human beings must have evolved the capacity to dream long before dream analysts came on the scene. It's as though we human beings have taken advantage of this phase of sleep to do something very special. But what? And why? Could the answer lie in our need as natural psychologists to extend the range of our experience? Could dreams, like play, be a way of trying out new experiences, and so extending our insight into what it can feel like to be human?
This is your eye line. Over here, Nick.
Can you give me a few words for level, Nick?
New roll going on. Camera roll 96.
Are you just about ready, Nick?
What do I say here? I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Try to do it in one, Nick.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Okay, stand by.
I didn't write this. I can't say this.
Turn over.
Sound running.
I'm not ready.
Mark it.
Nick to camera, 865, take 1.
Hold on a minute. I can't. I'm not ready. I can't. While you're in a dream, it all seems real enough. But if we're going to argue that dreams have any kind of psychological value, isn't there a problem? Since dreams are bound to be based on things you've already experienced in waking life, how can they ever teach you anything new about yourself? And since dreams are, of course, imaginary, how can they give rise to real emotions?
Sorry, tell me about the games you play.
It's true that the elements of any dream are bound to be drawn from the stock of things that we already know. But that's true of many other creative processes. A film editor takes bits and pieces of recorded sound and image and makes of them something quite new. A sequence of events, a narrative, which as a whole has never existed before and has a unique meaning.
Okay, let's try it then.
So with dreams.
What kind of games do you play?
The image of cross-questioning the children in the playground comes from one place. The image of a child lying lifeless on the ground from quite another. But it's the conjunction that causes the panic in the dream, because now there's the sense that it's my questions which have done the harm. Suppose then the dream narrative does throw you into some new situation, and it's a situation which in real life would be emotionally laden. If dreams are going to be a substitute for waking experience, it'll only work if your emotional responses in the dream are genuine, true to what you would experience in real life. Freud said, the robbers in a dream may be imaginary, but the fear is real. But is that right? Can unreal situations produce real emotions?
So, let's all relax again. Back to the land of
A hypnotist can persuade people to believe completely in unreal events.
The big picture's about to start. Lights have gone down. And I have to tell you something about this picture. It's very sad. So therefore, I give you Kleenex, because you'll need them. Even the men will find it sad. You see, it's the story of a lovely couple who have fallen madly in love. They have married, and the boy's father doesn't think the girl is good enough for his son. They are so ideally suited.
His suggestions create an imaginary scenario, and although the suggested images are only in the subject's minds, they respond to what they think is happening with genuine emotion.
Now she knows she's dying, and it's so sad. It's love story.
Once a suggestion has been planted under hypnosis, its effects can persist after the subject has come round.
David, come over here, David. You know,
this subject's forgotten what was told him, but he's still going to respond to a specific cue.
Do you know what I think about Muhammad Ali, though? When he got his opponents in the clinches and was talking to them, I think he was hypnotizing them.
Why?
I do. So instead of hitting them, he'd probably go like that. What's wrong?
Oh, my leg went.
Your leg went? Oh.
Oh, this one.
That one?
Yeah.
That one's all right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right.
It's all right. Okay. Stand up. What happened there? What happened there? All right now? Yeah, like I say, we'll probably go up and go, give them the old 1-2, like.
Oh, my knee's enough.
Your what?
My knee.
Does it?
Yeah.
Relax. This time, relax now and sleep deeper now. This time when I blow into the mic, like this, you'll just simply fall over. You won't hurt yourself, you just fall over. And finally, but when I reach 8, you'll be able to get on your feet all right, so you'll beat the count. 1, 2, 3. They come. You were complaining about your legs just now.
Yes, they.
Strange thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened? It seemed to happen when I went like that. On the mic. You see now, you'll be getting counted out.
Qu'est-ce que vous sentez?
La pression de la pièce.
Hypnotic suggestion can produce not only the subjective feelings that go with imaginary events, but even the physiological, bodily effects.
Vous aurez une cloque. Voilà, je précise l'endroit.
Under a hypnotic trance, a woman is told to imagine that an ordinary coin applied to her skin is burning hot, so hot that it's going to cause a blister. Remarkably enough, within a few hours, the skin reddens and swells. The burn's imaginary, and yet her body reacts exactly as it would to a real burn. So, fantasy can have potent effects in that kind of situation anyway. But the analogy between hypnosis and dreaming can only go so far. Hypnotized subjects are responding to suggestions originating with someone else, the hypnotist. But in dreams, we're on our own. There's no one else, no hypnotist, to feed us with suggestions about what to dream. Or is there? Perhaps nature herself is our hypnotist, our dream director. Natural selection has been working on the human species for many million years. We've evolved the capacity to dream, and presumably also we've evolved certain tendencies to have particularly useful kinds of dream. Psychological insight is what human beings require and what dreams could provide. But is there any evidence that people do in fact have psychologically useful dreams? I mean dreams that extend their understanding of what human experience is like from the inside. Unlike some other ideas about what dreams are for, it's not a notion with which many people are familiar. Yet, the idea that dreams can teach you about other people does seem to ring a bell.
A few months ago, I dreamed that I was pregnant. I already have 2 children. And something went wrong and I had to go into hospital. In the dream, I had a miscarriage, something I've never experienced, in fact. I can clearly remember from that dream that I wanted to see my baby. I was told that there wasn't a baby to see and that I'd had a miscarriage. I kept on demanding to know where my baby was.
Many years ago, I had a vivid dream in which I had accidentally killed someone. The dream commenced after the act, i.e. the body was under my bed, where I had tried unsuccessfully to conceal it. There were people outside the house, and I knew they were searching for the body, and there was nothing I could do. I was trapped. But the most consuming emotion was the one of guilt, the knowledge that I had...
Since that dream, I have heard of 2 friends of mine who have had miscarriages and suffered traumatically from them. Prior to having this dream, although I have had the usual sympathy for people unfortunate to have had a miscarriage, I could not understand the enormity of the loss. Now I feel I have experienced it, so can truly empathise.
Ever since that time, I have been able to identify with murderers, not so much those who are mentally ill or socialized into a violent way of life, but those who in a moment of passion or miscalculation are the cause of someone's death, or those involved in accidents for which they assume blame or negligence. The burden of guilt which they must bear for the rest of their life far exceeds any punishment or retribution society demands, and my heart goes out to them. If everyone could experience such an intense dream as mine, I think we might be a more imaginative and compassionate society.
I think most midwives dream about giving birth when they start working in maternity units, and it was a fairly common experience amongst the students that I trained with. I started my training just over 2 years ago and dreamt quite frequently during the first 6 months about having babies, because you're working very closely with women who are undergoing very strong, well, probably the strongest emotional experience that's ever likely to happen to them. The most interesting dream that I had occurred about 6 months after I started working on the labour ward. And I dreamt that I was giving birth alone in hospital in a very white, sterile atmosphere. It was a long and painful labour, and I pushed for a long time to get the baby out. When the baby was born, there was a great experience of elation and relief, and I was very happy that the baby had been born.
Kate Phillips has never had a baby.
James is doing really nicely, isn't he?
Nonetheless, her dream so far isn't telling her anything she couldn't have found out about in other ways.
After that, the placenta, which is the afterbirth, which is delivered after the baby, was pulled away from me, and I experienced a real devastating sense of grief that this was the final severance of the bond that had joined the baby so close to my body, and now the baby was an entity on its own. I woke up after that, and with the pillow absolutely wet with tears.
Thanks a lot.
Her grief at being separated from the placenta wasn't something Kate had read about in textbooks, nor, till then, discussed with other mothers.
I think most people are fairly revolted by the idea of the afterbirth. The focus is all on the baby and the mother and the event. But 1 or 2 women that I have got very close to have actually admitted that they felt something very similar to what I dreamt. They certainly didn't bring it up first. If I hadn't dreamt it, then I would never have thought of asking them about the delivery of their placenta. It would never have occurred to me, I must admit.
Is he feeding any better? Yes, he's feeding quite well, actually.
He looks marvellous at the moment, really peaceful.
As a midwife, no one has greater need to be psychologically tuned to the women in her care.
Do you want to give him a cuddle?
Does she herself think that her dream has made her a better natural psychologist of childbirth?
I think it's certainly made me a lot more understanding and less brisk about conducting certainly the third stage of labour, which is the delivery of the placenta. I think it's made me perhaps more relaxed and confident in talking to them about their whole birth experience, both at the time and afterwards. I feel that it's something that's made me come closer to the women that I'm working with.
It has to be said that most of us take our dreams for granted and don't pay much attention to them. But in the past, people have taken dreams more seriously, and in some cultures they still do. If you're a child in an Amazonian village, you might be expected every morning to tell your whole family where you went on your dream journey last night and what it meant to you. We don't do that. But if our culture has, so far at least, neglected dreams as a source of psychological self-education, we nonetheless make up for it in other ways.
Married with my uncle, my father's brother, yet no more like him than I to Hercules, within a month. Ere the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing of her galled eyes, she married. O most wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good. Break my heart. I must hold my tongue.
Fantasy still dominates our lives. Indeed, we probably make more use of fantasy today than at any other time in human history. Literature, drama, cinema are as powerful as any hypnotist in suggesting new experiences.
You're right.
Television makes particular fantasies universally available.
Rumble.
Yeah.
For better or worse, we live increasingly in a world of other people's dreams.
No.